different from me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be, and niggas trying to take my life away.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the False Nine Podcast. My name is Stephen. We have Charlie, Luke and Connor again, and we're going to look forward to the Premier League fixtures this weekend. Well, of course, we're going to start with United Chelsea. It's the biggest game of the weekend by far. I was just going to ask Charlie this, do you think it's the perfect game for Lampard to finally get it right, for Chelsea? If he gets it right today, or not say at the weekend, do you think it's the perfect time for him to finally find the right team?
I think he definitely needs to get it right because he's under a bit of pressure at the moment. You know, the fans are, so a couple of them I've seen questioning his selection at times. Now, I know Ollie and Frank, Ollie's beaten Frank 3 times and Frank beat him in the FA Cup semi-final, obviously. And I just think that time Lampard finally, he sort of tactically got the better of Ollie. You know, we played a back 3 all 4 times, and Frank finally copped onto that the 4th time and played a back 3 of his own. So I think actually we won't play the back 3 like midweek. We'll actually go with a back 4 against Chelsea.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the FA Cup semi-final, I was just like, why is he playing a back 5 again? Surely Lampard will cop onto it at this point, and he did. I think he will go back to a back 4 because I feel like you're at home, you need to go at Chelsea, and they're definitely vulnerable. There's no point sitting back and doing what he did against PSG. I just want to ask Luke, let's say they go to a 5, right? Oh no, obviously Martial's suspended still, right? Does that mean Cavani starts, or is he ready?
Solskjaer has just said in his press conference that he expects Greenwood and Cavani to be available for selection. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Dan James or something started up front, or maybe we played the same team as we played against Newcastle, but maybe I'd say he might bring Pogba back in, but I wouldn't be surprised if he brought him in for Dan James and played him a bit off the left like he did against PSG. So that would mean we have Bruno, Pogba, Fred and McTominay on. Wouldn't be surprised if he did that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Pogba can get back in. I think the midfield worked last during the weekend's PSG. I think Pogba obviously is we all know he's fantastic talent. It's just, do you just go try and trust it and just maybe keep McTominay and Fred in there? Because do they deserve to be dropped? They played well. Does that mean they just get dropped because Pogba needs to play, or?
Well, I don't think it's a question of do they deserve to get dropped. I just think Chelsea at home, you need to show a bit more ambition than 2 defensive midfielders sitting in front of the back 4. So I still think they might start together and Pogba might come in somewhere else, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pogba and Fred or Pogba and McTominay started this one together.
Yeah, I think one of them should start, in my opinion, ahead of Matic. From Fred, maybe, if they're going to play Bruno and Pogba, and then in the front 3. It'd be interesting to see. I just want to who do you think is most likely to get sacked? Because look, this game is probably not going to decide if we manage to get sacked or not, because it's one game and they're not doing terribly at the moment. But who do you think? Who do you think is going to get? Who's more likely to get sacked and will need this game to make sure that they can put a run together and take the pressure off them?
Because I don't think any of their jobs are at risk, to be honest with you. United, obviously they beat Newcastle, they went out beat PSG. They're in good form at the moment, and they always seem to do that when people are sort of questioning Ollie. They go and string a few wins together, and then with Lampard, he's he has half the puzzle. He's sort of solved going forward, but he's trying to solve the defense now. So, I mean, they got a clean sheet against Sevilla, which is obviously positive. They didn't score, but at least they didn't concede in that. Thiago Silva was apparently very good. I don't think he's good enough for the Premier League though if they want to win titles. But like I genuinely can't see any of them being sacked, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it's like not obviously sacked after this game. Like that's not going to happen.
No, but like even still, like I don't think their futures are in doubt at the moment. I think they'll be given time.
Yeah, I just a follow up on that then to Charlie. Like, do you think Ollie's good enough for United? Like, do you think he's good enough? Take away the legend stuff and outside. Do you think as a manager he's good enough?
I mean, the harsh reality is probably not. But if he keeps getting results, then we can't really, question whether to get rid of him or not. Like beating PSG away, that's a big achievement. Like I think we have to, respect him in some way, because in the big games he always seems to, if we don't win, we always seem to get at least a draw out of him. Like I know we didn't do too well in the semi-finals, but against the top six last season, we were top quality. I think he just needs to find a way of, being more consistent against the lesser teams, like the mid-table teams that seem to be what we struggle against and drop needless points. So if he can find a formula for consistently winning those sort of games, then I think he'll be fine.
I think he'll eventually get sacked. I think he's just going to do this. He might go on a good run now, or if he does go on a good run now, he'll just plummet again, and like they always seem to do under him. I just don't think he's good enough to, I don't feel like he's implemented a system that is going to consistently get results. I think at times I kind of literally sat there going, what is it like? Does he have a clue what he's doing? But look, back-to-back wins, going into a game against Chelsea, huge game for them to win. If they win that, then these tough fixtures, that's a good start to the tough run fixtures that we were talking about. I can't wait to watch it. To be honest, it'll be interesting to see. I think the main kind of thing we need to look at is just Chelsea at the back. If Chelsea can somehow, against the centre, for example, they were terrible defence last season. When the semi-final, they defended well. Would Lampard go to a three at the back, just to make sure that they don't concede as many? Because I don't trust them forward. I don't rate any of the defenders defensively. I think Reece James maybe is the only one that's not average. But it'd be an interesting one. I just want to get your score predictions. I'm going to go with 2-1 Chelsea. I'm saying it. Timo Werner. Madness.
Yeah, I reckon I'm gonna go with 1-1. I think it's one of the games where you go into, you wouldn't have one team being strong favourites going in. And I think that it will suit both teams, but I think they'll both play well, and I'm going with 1-1 anyway. I think Werner will score, and I reckon if Cavani ends up starting, I reckon he'll score, but if not, it'll be someone else.
There'll be a penalty probably.
Yeah, I'm going for 1-1 as well. I reckon we actually will score a penalty, but I'd say Lampard will play a back three, probably with Azpilicueta as one of the centre backs, and I'd say, he'll get the better of us this time, as he did in the FA Cup final. I still think we'll get a draw though. I'd say Chelsea will get a goal late on. I'd worry for Maguire if he plays, because the pace in the Chelsea attack, I don't think he's going to be able to deal with it.
He's not injured anymore now.
I think he's back. I don't think it was a long-term injury. I think it was just slight niggle.
Yeah, Luke.
I'm gonna go with 1-1 as well. Actually, I just think it's the type of game where neither team will go all out for the win. I think they both accept a draw, and I think both managers would take a draw as well, considering they're under some slight pressure. So I think both managers will definitely just try not lose the game.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, that's a good point. I think both managers can't really lose the game, to be honest with you. It just kind of puts more unnecessary pressure on them. It'd be interesting. I think the key one is whether or not Chelsea play who they play in defence and whether or not they play 5 or 4 at the back. I think if they play 4 at the back, you'll cause them so many problems. But if they play 5, maybe they'll be a bit more solid. I think Lampard needs to ditch whatever system he's trying to play and grind out some of these results, because it's a bumpy start so far. Anyway, moving on to Liverpool Sheffield. We have a long list of injuries. We have obviously Van Dijk. Matip looks like he could be in a race to find his fitness. Alisson's not fit enough. Thiago might make it. Who else? Oxlade Chamberlain at long term. Naby Keita, no one knows what's going on with him. I think he's fine. And there's a couple more as well. But we're short. But I think the performance in midweek was definitely encouraging for me. I think Fabinho was fantastic. Joe Gomez was fantastic as well. I just want to comment out, are your worries kind of like, do you have, like when Van Dijk initially got injured, like do you have less worries now, or like are you not as worried about defensively?
I think at the time I obviously was a bit worried about it, but if you think back on it, you're looking, we've seen Fabinho play before at centre back, and he's a very good centre back. And we saw that again against Ajax. Obviously, he bailed Adrian out with the goal line clearance, and multiple times he did bail him out again. So like I think Fabinho is looking good. Like obviously he's not Van Dijk, but I'm not as worried as I initially was when Van Dijk got injured. We sort of process the options we have. Gomez looked good again, so hopefully if he can start to form like a partnership with Fabinho, hopefully like we'll sort of be a bit more solid defensively.
Yeah, John, I knew we had, like, including Matt, I knew we had 3 quality centre backs we could play, but I just wasn't sure they'd be able to form a partnership. But I think this Fabinho Gomez one has potential. And look, it's only 1 game against Sheffield. They can make 2 mistakes and we can lose the game, but it's definitely encouraging, and I'm not as worried. Look, I was always confident that we'd probably be in a title race or we'd still win the title, because I don't fancy any teams. You saw City concede that goal the other night against Porto. It was shocking. And other teams as well aren't quite there yet. So I think it's still there for us to win. If Thiago's fit, like, Charlie, would you stick him straight in, or is there just like no point because it's not?
Yeah, I definitely just throw him straight in. I mean, you were saying who Curtis Jones at Ajax. Like, I know he has potential, but like you wouldn't want to be starting him on an away day in the Champions League, if we're being honest. Like, he's more of, let him find his feet in some of the cups or some of the lesser teams in the league, and then if he's ready, then you can throw him in. But I don't think playing him at Ajax would have helped him at all, considering he got subbed at half time, didn't he?
Yeah, for Henderson, the Klopp said after the game that Henderson was only able to play 45 minutes anyway. So maybe he saw that as it was going to happen anyway. But yeah, he just couldn't he couldn't get into the game at all. And it was a bit scrappy, and we didn't have enough of the ball for him to get into it. But yeah, definitely some potential. I agree. I'd stick Thiago straight in if he's fit.
Would you stick Jota straight into the team as well? Because
that's what I wanted to move on.
Firmino's form at the moment, let's be honest, is quite poor.
I think Firmino, to be honest, he was actually the best out of the front 3 against Ajax. So I thought, his play. I personally do like Jota. I would like to see him play. But I think you can't really take out Mane. Salah obviously is different, but Jota doesn't really play on that side. So you probably have to have Salah in there. Jota might come in for Firmino or Mane, but I can't see him dropping Firmino, to be honest.
I think he can drop Firmino if he has to play Jota on the left. He can play Salah on the right, and he can play Mane up top, because Mane has played up top. I go with it. I think the thing with Firmino is I think it's all around. If I look back at all the games this season, Aston Villa, he was horrible. But who wasn't horrendous, to be honest? The rest of them, I thought he was good. His link-up play was good. He was in the game. He was linking up play, and he was doing well. He just needs goals, and his finish is not good enough. And he needs goals. He obviously, I'm not expecting him to get 20 goals a season. He needs more anyway. Which I hope he starts getting, but we'll have to wait and see anyway. Sheffield, on the other hand, they're missing Jack Connell, Muse, their new signing Maxlow, and then Fleck. So their weekend, Brewster could start up top. Apparently, there's rumors saying he will start up top. Do you see anything in this game for them, Luke?
No, I don't see anything in the game for them, to be honest. They've started the season really poorly, nowhere near where they were at last season. I can only see a comfortable Liverpool win, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I'm confident as well. I'm going to go. What am I going to go with? I'm going to go with 3-0 Liverpool.
On the same, 3-0 Liverpool as well.
Connor?
Yeah, I was going to go 3-0, but now that you guys have said that, and also because we have that idiot in net, I'm going to go 3-1. I think they might just get sort of like a lucky goal, even like a penalty maybe, or just a scrappy goal. So yeah, 3-1.
Yeah, I'm confident that we can get the win anyway. It'd be good. It'd be good, like start to life for Van Dijk anyway. Next game that I want to talk about is Arsenal v Leicester. I think that's definitely an interesting game.
I don't think Charlie made his prediction for that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what did you thought I heard him? Sorry. Oh my
Skipped
god.
him.
Sorry, Charlie. Apologies.
I'm going to
Like
go
Connor was
with
just rambling on. Connor was just
Yeah.
rambling on. I thought you were saying something. Sorry, go on.
I'm going to
What
go
were you
2-0 Liverpool as well. I think Sheffield are just atrocious at the moment. Like, if you saw their game against, who was it? West Brom, they made so many chances. Like, McBurney isn't really a finisher. You know, maybe Brewster can give them the goals they need, but I actually tipped them to go down at the start of the season, and the way they're playing at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Yeah, Dean Henderson was obviously a big miss as well. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought, look, Connor was rambling on. I just zoned out.
Steve, you've been
Arsenal-
speaking for about 80% of the podcast so far, so you can't say anything.
Arsenal v Leicester. Arsenal's a weird one. Like they've obviously got a few wins. They lost to Austin City. They're clearly not there yet in terms of competing probably with the top teams. Leicester are kind of all over the place a little bit. Beat City and then lost to West Ham. This one's for Charlie. Like, if you were Arteta, did you play a back four against Arsenal, or did you stick with the back five that he's been using? Because he has been trying to implement a back four, and with Partey coming in, he could definitely put that to use. But do you think they should just stay with the trusted back five?
I think if it was a Leicester team, he might try and go with the back four, but considering it's Leicester and their quality in attacking areas, I know they may not have Vardy. They haven't had him the last two games, I don't think. But especially if they do have Vardy, they're going to have to play the back three, because if you're trying to change systems against a team like Leicester and everyone's not 100% out and knows their roles, they're going to get punished for it. So I'd definitely keep the back three just for the defensive solidity. Like, you can clearly see everyone seems to know what they're doing in that formation. You wouldn't want to tamper with it too much.
Yeah, I think Partey probably needs to start, in my opinion. Maybe alongside Xhaka. He's just too good to just like not throw straight in. He's a bit like Thiago. You just need to put him in the team. He makes that midfield 10 times better, and he probably gets the best out of Xhaka as well. I think the interesting. We all know Leicester's game. We all know Leicester's threat. It's Vardy. They have a good, strong midfield. I think Partey in there will help against the likes of Madison Tielemans. I was just gonna ask Connor this. Do you think they obviously don't have Solanke now? He's out for a bit. Do you think Arteta will be looking at this game thinking these are the games we need to win? Like, these are these teams that will probably not be in around top four anyway. Do you think he's thinking, look, these are the games we need to win? And do you think he'll be definitely targeting a game this is a game to like kind of put a marker down anyway?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at the sort of top four opponents this season, Arsenal, they lost to Liverpool. They didn't really look at the game at all, apart from like Robertson made a blunder at the start. After that, they didn't look at it. Leicester are another one of those teams now that are sort of challenging for top four in European football. And I mean, with Soyuncu out, like I think he has to play Aubameyang down the middle,
Yeah,
and just
definitely.
get him behind,
He's probably
and
bad.
definitely he'll be looking at the game, definitely thinking like he has to get 3 points out of this. There's no other way about it. Like I mean, Leicester, like obviously in the Europa League they won last night. I can't remember the score, but they definitely won by a few. Arsenal didn't look great in the Europa League at all. Like they looked like they were struggling. I think was it 2-1 in the end. I think
Just
David Luiz
about.
and Aubameyang scored it right at the end. So like he'll need to bounce back, but I think he will. Like I don't think Leicester are particularly good at the moment.
I think Arsenal, they've improved their defense, but their attack seems to have like gone a bit downhill due to the over defensiveness of the manager. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just relying on Aubameyang to score. Like it's pretty poor that they have to sub him on against that opposition in the Europa League to win them the game. They need more out of Willian. They need more out of 75 million Nicolas Pepe. They need more out of Lacazette. They need to start showing their quality. Otherwise, they're not gonna do very well this season. Now, Arsenal fans, they'll probably accept losses to Liverpool and City because we all accept that they're probably the best two teams in the league. But teams like Leicester, I don't think Arsenal fans will accept losing to or drawing to. I think Arsenal need to be beating teams like Leicester again, and Arteta will come under pressure if he doesn't start getting the results against these sort of teams.
Yeah, sorry, Luke. Just on one of the points you said there about the Liverpool and Man City matches, like Arsenal went 1-0 up against Liverpool and they literally immediately conceded and the heads dropped. Like that's just not
Yeah.
good enough if you want to be a top team. Like nowhere near
And
good enough.
Arteta's also said, or a couple of the players have also said that Arteta has a 3-year plan of winning the league. Well, if that's the case, then firstly, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he needs a reality check. But anyway, if that's going to happen, you've got to be beating teams like Leicester now. Like you're not just going to develop into a world-beating team in one season just because you're a manager. You need more quality players. The players at the top of the field currently aren't doing it. Their performances have been unconvincing to say the least, and I still don't think their defense is, solid enough. They have Gabriel obviously, but they clearly need another top quality centre back if they actually want to achieve what Arteta thinks they can.
Charlie, do you
Yeah.
think one of the problems is kind of similar to United's is kind of consistency against the sort of mid-table teams as well?
I think they're definitely better than us against the mid-table teams. I think, but you see their stats saying, they haven't won away against the Big Six in how many years? Like they need to
It's like
start picking.
29 games or something. Yeah.
They must go into games against the Big Six just expecting a loss, and that's not what you want, especially if your manager thinks you can compete for the title. Like you have to be getting stuff out of these games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like with everything I've said there, I think Arsenal do need to. Arsenal definitely there definitely is improve what they need to make a few more extra steps to get where they want to be. And I just want to go on to like Leicester. Like if you look, Leicester, they're doing okay as we said. Where do you think they'll be looking at? Like where do you think they'll be targeting? We all know what they want to do. They need to get the ball to Vardy in dangerous areas. I just want to ask Luke, like, where do you see Brendan Rodgers like targeting? Like, where would you target Arsenal if you were Brendan Rodgers?
I think the two fullbacks. I've watched Arsenal a few times, and the two fullbacks they just don't look very good defensively. I saw Tierney get absolutely spun by Mahrez at one stage. People shouting, he's the best left back in the league after a few goals, or one goal and maybe an assist. I've seen him get spun a few times when I've watched Arsenal, and it hasn't been that often I've watched Arsenal. And then Bellerin on the other side, he got sold for for City's goal by Foden, and they're not capable defensively to stop the real good players. So I think Leicester's wing backs, if they play Castan and James Justin, can really get at them. And also, if you look at Arsenal's defence, David Luiz, Gabriel, they're not the fastest. So I think they should be looking at getting Vardy in behind them if he's able to play.
Yeah, and also I think one thing Brendan Rodgers be looking at the way Arsenal want to press. They want to press you high, and if you just spin one in behind for Vardy, like he's going to cause absolute carnage. That's why I see Arteta sitting back a little bit, letting Leicester have the ball. But then again, I know there's no fans. He's at home. Like you can't be parking the bus at home. So
also, I'd like to actually say Leno on a Thursday was absolutely shambolic. So I'd be putting him under a lot of pressure to try and get something out of him because it was a shambolic display. Yeah, if you can maybe press him, and you might be able to force a mistake out of him.
Just on Arteta, actually, like, do you think, like, when do you think it's a fair kind of time to start criticizing? Because I've seen, like, so I know he's getting results and I know he's improved Arsenal a lot, but some of the football he's playing is horrendous. Like, it's so bad. It's just, if you see, like, I remember seeing, like, you know those maps where, like, you can see where the players are, like, their average position was. And there was literally just everyone out on the left just trying to find Aubameyang. It's just literally get the ball to Aubameyang and see what he can do. And you saw midweek. I was going to ask Charlie this, like, do you think, like, when do you think it's a fair time to criticize Arteta? Is it now? Like, is it now? Should we criticize him now?
I don't think we can criticize him at the moment, considering he's still getting results. I think if the stage comes where the results aren't coming, then he definitely has to be questioned. I'd certainly give him a few more transfer windows because clearly, you know, you look at the Arsenal squad, they definitely need more players still. Like they probably need to replace Lacazette, to be honest. I don't think Arteta is his biggest fan, considering he keeps playing Nketiah some of the time over him, who isn't the greatest either. Like he's a prospect, but you wouldn't consider him as good as the likes of Greenwood and the prospects of Foden and Saka. So I think he definitely needs more transfer windows. But then again, he's spent a bit of money. Arsenal aren't really known for spending money nowadays. So will he even get the backing of the board this time?
Apparently he is going to get the backing. I'm not too sure. I think, like, I'm not too sure at all. Like, I don't really see it happening, to be honest with you. I don't see him getting back as much as he probably thinks he might be, or he promised. But we could be proven wrong. And anyways,
I certainly don't think his long-term plan was to play a back three. I think he's come in and he's realised how poor they are defensively, so he's had to play it. And even with the addition of Gabriel, like, they still have to play because he has no partner. I think people thought Saliba was going to throw in beside him, but I mean, he hasn't even played a game in the Premier League, and he's playing with their under 23s at the moment. So clearly, he's not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, I think if you look, the fact that they won the FA Cup, obviously, as well, like, that helps him out. It gives him a bit more time. It shows that he's, like, even though the FA Cup, like, isn't obviously as difficult to win as, like, a Premier League title or Champions League, it's still it is a trophy. And people look at him, and obviously the Community Shield as well, like, it's not really, it doesn't really matter at all. Like, Community Shield's such a shit trophy to win. But even still, like, he's still winning those two. So obviously the Arsenal fans are going to be happy with him for that. And it will but I think his thing about the whole 3-year plan to win the league, I think that's ridiculous. Like, that's just delusion.
I mean, like, they might not even get in top 4 this year. And
exactly.
3-year plan. You think in a 3-year plan, you'd want to get the top 4 for a season. Next season, implement yourself in the top 4 and get close to the top, really, and then go for it. And he might know something that we don't.
If you guys were to pick your top 4 now for the end of the season, who would you have, like, from 1st to 4th?
Liverpool, City, Tottenham, Everton.
It's an interesting one. That's an interesting one for you, Steve.
United are not getting
right. City.
If not Everton, Arsenal. But yeah,
City.
Sorry, go on.
City, Liverpool, United, Spurs.
Let's drop that. You're not coming third. You're not coming third. No, you're not.
We didn't say what order, mate. We didn't say what order.
All right.
And that was the order.
Oh my God! I can't deal with
what do you mean? We've just gone to the park. We parked the Princess and played PSG off the pitch.
It is one game.
Charlie, the Showtime Red showed up again, didn't they?
Yeah, the tricky Reds are back, mate.
No. Right,
Lads, we've covered United. We're moving on. Predictions for the
I
Arsenal
want to hear
game.
your top four. I want to hear your top four.
Yeah, we're doing the top four. It's
I-
United shouldn't
I'm
be
the-
in it, so it shouldn't be
I'm
about
the same
United.
as Charlie. I'm the same as Charlie.
For fuck's sake.
Right, can I go? Can we have
No,
an actual prediction?
Right. Between Liverpool and City, I genuinely think it is kind of like it could go either way. I'm obviously going to back Liverpool.
Mhm.
I'm going to have City second. I think that Spurs will finish third or fourth. So I'm kind of not sure about third or fourth. And then I think it's between, like, it could be Chelsea, Arsenal, or United. But I go with Chelsea, like, right now at this moment in time.
My thinking behind Everton is just the fact Carlo Ancelotti's just
You see, Everton,
possible,
I
isn't it?
think if Everton are able to sustain the form, then I think they could cause
But
trouble.
the
But
what I'm saying is they're not going to have to get like ridiculously high points anyway. Without a season,
actually, sorry, just to make another point about Everton there, I'm telling you what's going to happen, all right? This weekend, Vestergaard is going to man-mark him out of the game and pocket him, and his season's going to be over. He's going to go on a goal drought, and Everton are going down.
Vestergaard's the worst.
I mean,
Yeah, well,
James
Vestergaard's
and
shocking.
Richarlison are out. James and
Coleman.
Richarlison are out. So,
Yeah,
I mean, they're definitely not as strong.
Yeah.
I can see them dropping some points. Like,
yeah. I was
I'd
going.
say they
I was
come
going
off
to go
the
with a
rails
draw.
eventually.
Yeah,
I'll
possibly.
back them. Actually, no, Jordan Pickford. Nah, man, they're coming 15. Fuck Jordan Pickford. I'll stick Arsenal in there. Fuck him. He's a wanker. Anyway, moving on to Burnley v Tottenham.
We
Burnley
didn't
are
do
out.
the predictions, mate.
Oh man, I'm all over the place. Predictions. I thought we did.
He's
them.
getting new house in.
Sorry, because we went to the Champions League. I'm in the top four, so I was like, oh, we must did the predictions. Anyway, predictions. Arsenal, Leicester. Me first. I'm going with. Fucking hell. I'm gonna go with 1-1.
See, you're like the calculator kid trying to make your predictions.
Yeah, but like you have to think about it. You don't just pull numbers out of your, you know where.
I have them pre-prepared. I know what's going on. Like,
You know, but I like to think about it. And I have to. But
right, we'll let
1-1.
Charlie go next so he doesn't get skipped again.
Yeah. I've also gone with 1-1.
See, me and Charlie know, but Luke.
Luke, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2-1 to Arsenal.
And Connor.
I was gonna go with 1-1 as well, but I feel like I'm just gonna be copying you guys now, so I'm going to go with 2-1.
Okay. I mean, I think me and Charlie have got it right once again, but we'll move on. Burnley v Tottenham. Burnley just are number one. They're awful to watch. Number two, they're a lot of injuries. They've Ben Mee, who's like their starting centre back, Jack Cork, and there's another one, Bardsley. I think he played a little bit. He's COVID, and then the youngster Peacock Farrell as well is injured. But surely Tottenham win. Is that the general consensus, or can Burnley make it tough?
Definitely.
I feel like Burnley, like you remember, it used to be a hard place to go, but I just feel like they don't make it tough anymore. Like they just don't have to play it.
I actually feel sorry for Sean Dyche. I mean, he was building something good with Burnley there, and then during the summer, I mean, I don't know what they were doing, but I think they're in serious relegation trouble now. They just haven't backed him at all. I mean, they signed that lad from Brighton. Is his name Dale? Yeah, Dale Stevens is their only signing. Like, that's absolutely pathetic. I mean, if you have owners like that, you sort of deserve whatever you get. I mean, how they thought Dale Stevens was going to elevate them to a better finish than last season, I don't know. But I think they are in trouble now this season due to the lack of backing that the owners gave Dyche. I feel a bit sorry for him, to be honest.
Yeah, I think sorry, go on.
If you look at Dyche, I think, like, obviously I don't agree with the football that Burnley play. I think it's terrible to watch. But you have to give him credit, like the amount of consistently like decent Premier League finishes he's had, like just sort of mid-table, and like he's put it up to the big teams. You saw Jay Rodriguez bang one in against United at Old Trafford, didn't you? And like Burnley have genuinely put it up to some of the big teams. Like Turf Moor is a tough place to go. So
that was just a Harry Maguire disaster class, mate. Like, we're being honest.
it is a tough place to go, but no fans. It's not really the same anymore.
Yeah,
It's going to be difficult for them, and they are definitely in trouble. I think Spurs definitely need to bounce back from the West Ham game. That was shocking from them at the end. I think Mourinho's coming very frustrated because I think he knows what his team can do, and you saw it last season. But he also knows what they're capable of as well. Like they know that
yeah.
he knows they're capable of giving away leads and being bottle jobs effectively. And
I'd say it's the same situation as he has at United. He's definitely going to want to buy a commanding centre back. I know they bought that lad Joe Roden or something from Swansea, but 15 million from the Championship. I don't think he's the answer. To be honest, I'd say Spurs need someone like Koulibaly. To be honest, like you see their defense, Dyer, Sanchez, and all the Alderweireld, is it? And they're just not solid at all. Like you'd back them to concede at least one or two every game. So they definitely need to sort out the defense. And I think Mourinho, even though he's known for keeping it tight, he can't shut up shop with these sort of players at the back because you can't really trust them.
Yeah, it's their defense. I think is terrible. I think Alderweireld is on his way past
his prime.
Yeah, I think. Look, I think under the general consensus is they're going to win. Like, do you think they're title challengers?
No, I think they do have the ability to beat probably nearly every team in the league, but I don't think they'll consistently be able to get wins week in, week out. Because I mean, you've seen it in the last few years. The points you need to win the league, like nearly 100 points most seasons for the last 3 seasons. I don't think Spurs are anywhere near that, to be honest.
I think the West Ham game shows exactly why they're not title challengers. I mean, if you're winning the league, you can't go and throw a 3-goal lead to West Brom over a 10-minute period. I mean, that's just not good enough. Oh yeah, sorry, West Ham. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was poor. And like obviously Lanzini goal was fantastic, but regardless, it's poor. I think with this Tottenham team, do you think Mourinho is the right man in the end to lead them to a trophy at least? Does Jose still have it? And do you think this for Charlie? Sorry, do you think he is the right man to lead them to finally getting a trophy?
I mean, I don't see anyone else winning a trophy with him. Like, if anyone's going to win him a trophy, it's Mourinho. Like, he's proven it. He can do it. Like, with the United team, he said finishing second and winning the Europa League was probably one of his best achievements. We all laughed at him, and then look how shit we got when he left. Like, I know we went on a run straight after he left, but then we were arguably in a worse state at a point in time. But anyway, we're Tottenham. Like, it's clearly the attackers are just playing unreal at the moment with Son and Kane. So like usually his football, like, it's quite defensive and they nick a few goals, but at the moment the way their attack is playing, they're scoring half balls of goals. He just actually needs to sort out the defensive side, which I think he will, because we all know Mourinho. I think you have to give Mourinho credit. I mean, he's got Kane dropping off and Son spinning in behind, and it's working really well. And I think that's only just started to happen regularly since he came in. So you can see it's really part of his style. I think he just needs to fully implement his defensive strategy, which we all know is very good, but he hasn't quite got it yet, as you can see against West Ham. But I think once he does that, Spurs can definitely win a trophy, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's targeting the Europa League again.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Spurs as well, like obviously they have like Son and Kane are obviously really in form. But if you think Bale can literally be playing on the right, going in behind as well as Son as well, and like obviously Luke's more in there as well, like I think they have one of the, like, I think they do have the most informed attack in the league, and like it has the potential to be the best front three in the league, to be honest with you, if Bale actually gets back to where he was in Madrid. The midfield are obviously they're sort of average enough, like and same with the defense. There's nothing really special. Sorry?
Like Højbjerg's very good. I think he's just
Højbjerg has good energy. Did you see him last night in the Europa League actually?
No.
He split his head open. He had a big headband on. He was like loving it, going into challenges with that on.
Yeah, I saw him do a double roulette or something. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. It's actually sick.
Baller. Very, and people were scratching their heads at the signing, and I think the general consensus at the time was just, look, that's such a Mourinho signing, and I think he's proven that. Well, we can move on to predictions. For me, it's going to be 2-0. No, 3-0 Tottenham.
I'm going to go with 2-0 Tottenham, Son and Kane to score again. I've gone for 2-1 Tottenham. I think they're going to concede, considering the way Burnley play. You know, if you look at their last few goals conceded, they've all come from swung in set pieces from around the halfway line-ish. And I think Burnley, you know, you're not going to get any better team set piece-wise than them. Like, every time they get a foul on the halfway line, they're going to lump it into the box. It's just the way they play. So I can see them conceding, but I'd say they get the job done in the end.
I think Burnley are like on the edge at the moment. I think their confidence is obviously like rock bottom, and I think like Spurs, obviously they scored a load of goals last night against West Ham. They scored a load of goals as well. I'm going to back them to win 4-0. I think it's just going to be one of those days where Spurs just go out and just put up a really good performance, and I don't think Burnley will get anywhere near them, to be honest.
Yeah, I think, look, I can't see Burnley. I don't think any of us can see Burnley doing anything, to be honest with you. Speaking of West Ham, actually, they're playing City next. West Ham obviously came back. It was a great comeback. City beat Arsenal. That was their last game. Or no, City beat Porto, of course. City. West Ham do have a few injury worries. I think Antonio, he could be back at the weekend. Haller might not be back. I think Fredericks and Diop are back. Diop had COVID. I think they were on the bench in the Tottenham game. So, but mainly Man City, like Fernandinho's gone for a while now. That's huge, despite his age. And Mendy, and then also Laporte and De Bruyne are facing a race to get back. Are we just saying City win, or is it a game City can slip up? Like they have been doing in the last season, or
I think West Ham can definitely look at this game like with the form they're in. Like, I mean, they've beaten Leicester and then they were 3-0 down at Tottenham. Like, to come back against one of the big six teams from 3 goals down, one of your main rivals to nick an equaliser in injury time, like that would really boost your confidence. I think Mikel Antonio, if he's back, I think he like relishes his chances in big games as well. You've seen him, like at the end of last season, he went on that goal scoring run. And I'd say they'll look at this team, this City team, and they'll think this is this is a really good chance. We said it about Arsenal as well. Like, it's a good chance for teams to get something out of City.
Yeah, especially now, no Fernandinho, possibly no Laporte. How big is that Fernandinho being missing, Charlie?
I mean, I don't see it as a massive loss. Like, I know he's a leader, but to be honest, his on-pitch performances, they've gradually be getting worse. Like, he's not covering. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not been playing badly, but he's not playing the way he was. Like, his legs are beginning to go, if not have gone already. That's probably why he got moved back to centre back, just to control the game from there. But I think they definitely have the players to still get the win here. I mean, Ake, Diaz, they can all come in at the back. I suppose Rodri can do a job, even though I'm not his biggest fan. Gundogan as well. I actually like Gundogan as a player. He keeps it. He's not as creative as the other City players, but he's definitely needed in there for balance. He has a defensive side to his game, so I think they'll be fine against West Ham.
They will be. I think Diaz is looking good. Luke, do you see anything in West Ham? Anything in this for West Ham? Where do you think they can get any change from? Really, I'm guessing the City's defense.
I actually think this might be a tight game, just because West Ham, they've beaten Wolves 4-0, Leicester 4-0, and then they've come back from 3 goals down. So they should be in relatively good. Like, their confidence should be high. I think if Antonio plays, he can cause the back four real problems, and I also think they can get in behind the left back of City quite easily. I think Bowen is, if he's available, I think he can get in behind their left back. So I see this being a tight game, but I do think City will eventually win. I think KDB has come back into training yesterday. Aguero's just coming back. Aguero hasn't looked like up to his sharpest, but once he gets the service from De Bruyne and up to being match fit, I think City will score a lot more goals than they are at the moment. So I think City will win this one 2-1.
Yeah, just the key if De Bruyne is fit or not. I'm guessing he will be. But I have to find out what Pep says today. But yeah, look, West Ham can definitely do something, but I feel like City, West Ham's defense, they do concede a good bit, like, and they aren't solid at all. And it could be one of those games where City turn it on. But look, West Ham have probably themselves. I don't know if Ben Ram is going to start. I don't know what the practice it in. They could hurt City. City are forced to play like Ake left back at times because Mendy's injured and they don't have a left back. So we can see them get some change there. I mean, we can go with predictions. I'm going to go. I'll probably just go 3-1 City.
I've also gone 3-1 City.
I'm gonna go with 2-0 City. I think even without De Bruyne, I still think Aguero will, like, he just gets goals for you, doesn't he? Like, it doesn't matter who he's with, he's a natural goal scorer. And then, mind you, I am predicting 2-0, but I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham do get something out of the game, to be honest with you.
Definitely, yeah. And then Luke.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 2-1 to City, and I fancy Sterling to score as well.
Yeah, Sterling's always going to get a goal. He actually likes playing against West Ham. I always feel like he scores against them. Yeah, look, that's the fixture we're going to cover. There's one last thing I want to get your thoughts on. During the week, apparently Liverpool and United are in talks with other big European clubs for the European Super League. Anyone's thoughts on that? Personally, I think it's a shambles. Like, if that happens,
it's an absolute disgrace, in my opinion. It's a disrespect to the rest of the teams in the league, and frankly, it's laughable because if you look at United, we can barely beat shitters like Brighton. So if we're going into some Super League, like, I know we just beat PSG and we're quite good against the, Europe's elite, if per se, but like, there's no chance of us doing any good in it. Like, it's no good to anyone. It's just a money racket.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's just disrespectful to the rest of the Premier League. I know they were trying to organise this Project Big Picture as well or something, which was it was just stupid if you looked at what they were actually trying to implement, like relegation playoffs and all that. And like, it's just not on really. And like, they're well within their rights to just kick them from the league. I know they're obviously not going to do that because they're the two biggest clubs in England. But like, the way they're going about their business, the American owners are trying to make it like American football, and it's not on. It's not football.
Honestly, American owners are one of the worst things that's ever happened to this game. Fucking hate them. It's all about money. It's all about profiting off the game. It's all about making it their way. And the Premier League cannot, and I mean, they cannot, or the FA and maybe some of the other big teams, they cannot like just let this happen. Like, they need to put their foot down and go, look, this isn't going to happen. It's going to be a detriment to the game. And people above, because they have so much power, like, because they know how big they are. They know they have the best hand in terms of they can just leave, and Premier League can't do anything about it. And the Premier League need them to stay. But like the FA and other kind of governing bodies need to put their foot down and not let this happen, because let's be real, they're going to try to play games where they can make the most money. They'll play games in the Middle East, they'll play games in Asia, they'll play games in the States, and it'll just be a shambles. Like, it won't feel like football anymore. It'll literally feel like the NBA.
Yeah, I don't know what's even the point of it. Like, like, it's so clear that they're just trying to make so much money out of it, because the Champions League already exists. So what are you doing coming in, getting another tournament with all the top teams in Europe? But like, it's just the American owners. Like, this is not the NFL or the NBA.
Yeah.
We don't need to commercialize every game, have relegation playoffs just so we can make a bit more money. Like, they've already brought it in the championship, the playoff. Now, I personally think coming sixth in the league and being able to get qualified to the Premier League, it's just stupid. Like, it's actually unfair on the team that's come third throughout the whole season, that the team that comes sixth can just sneak in at the end and they have a chance of getting into the Prem. So I think commercializing the sport is just embarrassing and needs to stop.
Yeah, I've a few things to say, and especially what Lucia said there. Like, the whole point of a league is about consistency, and like, I think it's just pathetic the way you just, like, you have a playoff at the end. Like, you could literally, the third place team could be like 30 points ahead of another team, and the other team could go up, and it makes no sense whatsoever. And like the whole money thing, like you've seen it as well with the, like, you have to pay £15 now to watch like Sheffield United versus Fulham. Like, that's actually disgraceful. Like,
It's so
Yeah,
bad.
such a joke.
and the playoff thing, Brentford came third last year. Now, I know they actually lost in the playoff final, but look who's come
Yeah.
up, Fulham, who
Yeah.
I think they finished sixth. I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but I don't, they just got into the playoff, and look at them now. They're shit. They're going
Yeah.
down. I can guarantee you they're going down. They're so poor.
Yeah, they'll do a Norwich
at the
from last
back,
season on.
At the back, they are a shambles. Like, they're just dreadful. And then they go to the cup and they lose to Brentford because Fulham don't deserve to be in the Premier League. They're not good enough to be in the Premier League. I know they've made Sonny's life Loftus Cheek now, but they haven't actually, covered for their shocking defence. And their manager, Scott Parker, I know I've covered this already, the club legend thing, he's not the best. Like, they need a relegation specialist if they want to get out of it, and they don't have it. So I think if Brentford came up, they'd definitely been more entertaining, and they definitely stand more of a chance in the Prem, but that's what you get with the playoff.
Yeah, and then the
I
whole commercial thing about the other European league, like the Premier League at the moment is one of the best leagues in the world. Like, it's the most watched league in the world. It's just going to turn to shit if all the good teams leave, and like, it'll just be so
Yeah.
bad. Like, for say like Everton fans, for example, Leicester fans, like, the league's just going to be shit for them. Like, it's just no one's going to watch it.
It's just the over commercialization of everything. It's just
Yeah, it's just a money thing from the American owners.
It's just trying to profit off a game. Like, they just try to profit off the game. That's it, and it's not being stopped. And I was talking to a few people. It's like, oh, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Like, it's gonna happen. Nothing you can do about it. And like, it's that money makes the world go around. Like, why are you letting it happen? Like, why'd you just give in? Like, just because money makes the world go around, just because it was inevitable or so-called inevitable or there's so much money to be made, doesn't mean you can't stop it. Like, at the end of the day, none of us want this. It's our game. It's the fans' game more than anything. It's not some rich prick from the States. And I'll go at our owners or go at any owners. It's not their game to ruin, and I think it needs to be stopped. Do I see it being stopped? No, because you literally, any one at the top in the FA, you can just slip a brown envelope to and you'll say nothing and stuff like that, and it'll be easily done, and it'll be swept under the carpet. I think the FA, if the likes of the FA and bodies like that, they kind of let this happen and pussy out of it eventually, they're a disgrace. They're a disgrace anyway, the FA. They're a bunch of fucking wankers that don't care about the game. They just want to make as much money as they can, and they're a disgrace. Yeah, I think, look, we've all have similar sentiments about it, so I don't think there's much point going into it. That's it, really. I'd like to thank everyone for watching if you've gone this far. Of course, if you've any mates that like watching football or like talking about it or like listening to people talk about it, make sure you share this podcast down. It'd be much appreciated. Thanks, Luke. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Connor, for joining me today. And don't forget to like and subscribe as well. And of course, like I said, tell your mates. But that's all for us now, and we'll see you next week.